Hello there, Bitizens, and welcome back to Chronicle Runescape Legends. As always, I have a new deck for you, and this will be a competitive deck. This is a deck that you can use to climb in ranked. As such, it is, high cost. It's got diamond cards. We've got, Wizard Tournament Diamond, Tetsu Katana, Kale, Morwenna. I think that's it in terms of diamonds. I'll go over replacements at the end of the video, but this is going to be a competitive deck, so it's going to have a higher cost. And this is actually a deck I have not been wanting to show you guys because I absolutely hate playing against it. It's like the most frustrating deck to play against, so I didn't want to show you guys it. But here we are. This is the Grief Linza deck, and this deck is all about pissing your opponent the fuck off. And the way it does that is with cards such as Dust Devil, spend your weapon, rival loses 1 base attack, and Karam, spend your weapon and remove 2 base attack from your rival. So basically you're just fucking them over. You're stopping them building up base attack, you're keeping them very low, and then on top of that you're going to be griefing their monsters. So the way you play Karam or Dust Devil, you need weapons. Fortunately we have a Major Mary Rancor, rival gains a 1/1 weapon, and so do you. And you can actually use this weapon into Karam, though you can't use it into Dust Devil because killing Dust Devil would use up the weapon. And Major Mary Rancor actually also griefs them by removing any big weapons they might have, because you give them a 1/1 weapon, so if they had like a 5/6 weapon, they'd lose it. On top of that, we have Kale in here, a 4/2 weapon. We have Ice Warrior, it's a 1/4, and we have Goblin Raider 1/3. And all of these weapons can be used into Dust Devil to kill the Dust Devil and remove the base attack. Alternatively, you can play these cards into Firmament Crafter, spend your weapon and draw 4 cards. So get your card draw to try and find, the Dust Devils and the Karam. So that's kind of the gist of that side of the grief. Then on top of that, we have, Work Order, spend weapon and add your weapon attack and 2 health to rival's next creature. And we have Wizard Traiborn, add 1 health and 3 attack to rival's next creature. So this is then griefing the creatures after you've put them on 1 attack to try and make them take damage. On top of that, we have Morwenna, add 3 health to rival's next creature, deal 2 damage to rival. And that's kind of how that side of the grief works. Then you have your sustain cards, like Repurpose, spend weapon, gain 10 armor, and Full Tetsu, which gives you 7 armor and 7 health. And then these are earned with gold gains, such as Ali Morrisane and Goblin Flash Mob, but also with cards like Dwarven Miner, remove 4 costs from your next equipment. Then we also have KGP Agent and Kaizaj Tournament in here, because if you get a mirror matchup with yourself, basically you need that AP gain in order to win the final fight, but you want to hold on to it and play it as late as you can, because ultimately you're fucking with your opponent, and then you want to beat them in the final fight by, you not being on 1 AP and them being on 1 AP, and if that's the case, you can also then equip the Tetsu Katana and chop them into little pieces. So that is the gist of the deck. So let's jump into a ranked game. The ranked season has just reset, so I've only just hit gold. I'm, working my way up as we speak, but I've only just hit gold. So I've already climbed through bronze and silver, so we're not doing terribly. Last season, I ended in diamond. I think my highest rank was diamond 11, which means I was the 11th best player based on ELO. And I think I ended in like the mid-teens or something. When I first got into diamond, I was actually put at diamond 13. And there were over like 150 diamond players, so I'm not completely terrible. And this is a really good starting hand. Like a really good starting hand. I think what we're going to do is hold on to everything except Work Order. Ooh, so we've got our Tetsu Katana. That means our KGP is a little bit risky, but it should be fine. So what we're going to do here is we'll Ice Warrior into Dust Devil. Now, if Gizu knows that I am a Grief Linza, often what you'll see people do is they'll play weapon removal first slot, in which case you would actually just shift everything up 1 slot. So you would play it, more like that, basically. But as it is, I think we can play this. We could play Wizard Traiborn, and I'm wondering if maybe that's a smart decision. But I think what we might do is just hold off on it until the next turn. Do we think he's going to equip a weapon? I'm not sure. We could always, put Major Mary last slot so that we have the weapon for the next turn as we're going first. But ultimately, it doesn't really feel like it's hugely beneficial. He's equipped Kale, so he does have weapons in here, which means that, Major Mary could be useful at the end of the chapter if he's still got a weapon. We could have gone straight in with the Major Mary, but we would have had to play it second slot. As it is, though, we are removing a base attack here, though he is gaining it straight back. So this must be an AP gain Raptor. All right, what's he up to? So Major Mary actually would have been okay. We could have put her 3rd slot and removed his 4/2 weapon. But I wasn't sure what kind of deck he was playing, so I didn't want to try and make predictions about what he might do until I kind of knew for certain. As it is, though, he doesn't have enough base attack, and he just took 15 damage from a Jad. Oh, because he thought... And now he must think he still has the weapon. So he thought he'd be on 7 base there and just tanked 15 from a Jad. And that is the power of this deck. He's now on 7 health and, you know, 4 armor. I mean, yes, he has 3 base attack, but we have, you know, plenty of ways of disrupting that. And plenty of ways of causing him, you know, grief here. What we'll do, I think, is we'll Wizard Traiborn into Goblin Raider into Fremnik Crafter. And then I think we'll Goblin Raider at the end so that we have a weapon to spend. And also this means that we will draw 4 cards from this, and then we'll draw 3 cards at the end of the turn. So we should have a full hand at the end of the turn. Whereas if we hadn't played our second Goblin Raider, we would have only had... We'd have misdrawn and not drawn all of the cards that we could potentially draw. And seeing as we're drawing 7 cards, it's likely that one of those is going to be a spend a weapon and do this, right? So it makes sense to equip a weapon, whether that's a repurpose or a Dust Devil, or what have you. I'm not really sure, but we'll wait and see. We'll wait and see. All right, come on. See, now he's nervous. Now he's nervous. He went for his kind of balls to the wall play that first turn, and it didn't really work out. Gain health equal to rival's total attack. Okay, so he's taking 10 damage from a Slime Toes now, which is fantastic. So you see what I mean? This should... No, it won't quite kill him because he's just healed, of course. He'll have like 5 health. But he's taking 10 damage from a Slime Toes. Unfortunately, you know, we're not able to do more grief than that, but it's better than no grief. And now he's down on 5 health and 2 armor. And you can kind of see the power of this deck is he doesn't really now have the health to spend, although he did just kill a Cullen Romancer, which would have been nice if we'd managed to grief that. And you saw we draw Morwenna there. Morwenna's a really lovely card for this kind of anti-tank strategy. Oh, he's removing my weapon, the cheeky bugger. It's not the end of the world. Like, we were playing it to, you know, not have a card in our hand. But it is a little frustrating that he has removed that. Though if we draw Karam, for example, we can put him back down to 1 base. And if we draw... We have Tetsu there for the final fight. Though if he, you know, weapon griefs me, it's not going to be ideal. All right, what have we got? We've got Kaizaj, Goblin Flash Mob, Work Order, Ice Warrior. I think what we'll do is we'll go Morwenna, Kaizaj... Is he going to equip a weapon? I think he is, you know. Major Mary. Work Order. Kaiser. That just gives us a gold back as well. And then we can always go Goblin Flash Mob next turn.
Yep, I'm ready.
This seems like a good play. I mean, we got him so low, so I don't know how this is going to work out. I think it'll work out okay, though. And I think he's going to equip a weapon first slot. Because he needs more reach, right? He's only got 3 base attack. He's not going to be able to kill much with that. But then, the question then becomes, you know, he's already played his Slime Toes. I think he's played both of them. He's already played his Kale? Did he play Kale first? Or maybe he's only got 1 Slime Toes left in this deck. I'm just trying to predict what's in his deck. So maybe the weapon strategy wasn't great. But this, oh, this is amazing. Is that game? I think that must be game. He's definitely dead. Why are you tanking a Dagonoth Sentinel? Hey, look at that. That's game. Thank you. I will take that win. I will take my rewards and I will continue on. But you can kind of see the power of this deck is getting your opponent to kill themselves. And a smart player will, you know, try and play around it. You'll try and block the grief with, you know, a weaker monster. Like, don't go straight into Dagonoth Sentinel. Put, like, something weak in front of it so that the grief hits the weak monster. Though he was trying to kill a Dagonoth Sentinel with 3 base, so you could tell he was kind of in a bad position there. And we'll continue on with our Grief Linza strategy. And you can see how satisfying it is. You know, he tanked 15 damage off a Jad. He took a hell of a lot of damage off a Dagonoth Sentinel. And now we're going into another Linza. And she's on rank 1. She is a rank 1 silver. So we are gatekeeping her. Gatekeeping is what we tend to say when... we are, you know, stopping a person from getting into the next rank. So if I'm going up against someone who's on their promotion, like this silver player, then I'm gatekeeping her. The question is she a Grief Linza? What kind of Linza is she? That's what I don't know. Because if she's a Grief Linza, she's going to grief me first. I think she's a Weapon Linza then, if she's removing cost from equipment. Yep, she's a Weapon Linza. Which is great for us because, you know, Major Mary is a huge counter to the Weapon Linza. And you can see our strategy, again, putting her down to that 1 base attack. Let's see what she does with this weapon. Whether she's going to kind of buff it or what's going to happen here. Crassian Warrior. Okay. And then, what have you got next? Should I be worried?
Welcome.
I'm just going to gain a lot of gold, which allows me to Karam as well. Ketsek, okay. So we've got sustain in this deck, so she's maybe going aggro, like she wants to kill me before the final fight, which means we're going to need to be using our, you know, Tetsu, full Tetsus and stuff to try and, I guess, survive. But now she's on 1 base attack, so she's going to have a hard time at this point, which means that Wizard Traiborn, for example, would actually play quite nicely here.
Hey, that's nice.
I think we go KGP, Goblin Flash Mob.
Yeah,
I think we can put our base attack up now, which will give us, you know, a little bit more of an easy time. Remove a random equipment from rival's deck. So that's going to be a full Tetsu? Yeah. I've only got, I think, full Tetsu and Tetsu Katanas in there. You don't often see that card played outside of Dungeoneering, to be honest. Oh, a 4/3 Mischievous Imp. So now she's taking, what, 8 damage from the Imp? 8 damage from an Imp. That's painful. That's painful. And it's starting to, you know, look less good for her. Then if we get our Major Marys drawn, what this means is that, you know, we'll have a good time of also taking weapons off her, which is going to give us, you know, a good time. I shouldn't really be giving her gold. Maybe I should have played both KGPs and, you know, discarded the Kizaj, but I think it's okay. Ultimately, I think it's going to be okay. We have 9 gold at this point, you know. And if we draw our Tetsu, we can, you know, quite safely equip it, which is good. So I think we go Ice Warrior into Fremnik Crafter to draw more cards. We'll put the wizard there. I don't think we necessarily need the armor. Unfortunately, like I said, if I'd drawn a Mary Jamiri, I would have played it first slot to remove that weapon, because that is something I do not want to deal with. Oh no, we've briefed the wrong thing. Right, come on, Major Mary, show up. I need you to show up in this draw now. Yeah, I definitely need it to show up in this draw, because otherwise this is going to be a painful turn for me. I need Major Mary, and I need a Tetsu, although I did discard one. I've got 2 Major Mary Rancors in this deck, and they are there to counter this weapon strategy, so, you know, that's the thing. Because the thing is, she's spending all her time, you know, making this really buffed weapon, and now she's going to, you know, try and hit me with it. But the thing is, if I can Major Mary it, then her entire chapter should be scuppered. We just got to pray to the heart of the cards. Hey, the heart of the cards. Yes. So we're going to go Major Mary,
Can I help?
full Tetsu, Goblin Raider, repurpose. We're just going to heal up this turn. I'm expecting Pulverize slot 1, which won't quite kill me, but it will definitely hurt. So we're expecting a Pulverize. Oh, it's a battle. So she's going to do 9 damage to me. I'm going to do 4 to her. And then we're going to remove her weapon, and we're going to BM a little bit.
Take these gifts.
Here you go. I got you this 1/1 weapon. You're welcome. And the thing is, she thinks she has an 8/4, right? So she feels like, you know, she's going to be doing a lot here. But in fact, she's only down to 2, and you can see she's tried to kill me here. So healing was the right call now. And that's why this deck does have, you know, these Tetsu, full Tetsus in it. And the repurposes to try and, you know, keep yourself alive. Oh, she's dead. The Greater Demon. She should have played that card first. It would have been safer for her to play the Greater Demon before she played the battle cards. Because the thing is, if I removed her weapon, the Greater Demon was going to kill her. But on the flip side, if she played the Greater Demon first, she would have been exhausted. But that doesn't matter because she was already on 1 attack. So she played that turn in the wrong order, which caused the Greater Demon to kill her. But you can see the kind of power of the Grief Linza deck. You can see why I hate playing against it so much, just because the whole thing is an absolute, like, nightmare in terms of playing versus it. And it's just very stressful, but it is definitely effective. And, you know, if they are AP stacking, base attack stacking, you've got the Karam for later on, and you can see how we gained the gold. Now, if you are wanting to adjust this deck, if you have, you know, more diamond cards, Rollo the Stout actually works really nicely in this deck. I just don't own him. He gives you a weapon. He's a 3 damage, 2 health monster, which gives you armor and a weapon, which you can then, you know, spend. So you could go Rollo into Fremnik Crafter works. I don't think Rollo into Dust Devil works unless you have 4 base attack, but it's another weapon to give you options, you know, for Karam, and also it gives you card draw, which helps you find the cards that you need. So if you're going to add more diamonds, that's an option, right? Now, if you're going to remove diamond cards, which is also an option, you could, let me see, Kaizaj is base attack. You don't necessarily need that much base attack in this deck. I just like having it. I like having the KGP in the Kizaj to get me up to that a little bit higher in case I'm going into a mirror match. But you could just straight out remove this one and add, you know, more weapons. This is just to improve your AP. Similarly, Kale, you could replace with Sergeant Slimetoes is generally the one people pick to replace him with. Sergeant Slimetoes, because this card is easy to kill, and it gives you reach. So it gives you a strong weapon that you can then... I tend to just Dust Devil it or, you know, Karam it. But you could similarly work order it. Spend weapon and add weapon attack and 2 health. So that's 4 attack and 2 health. If you replace this with Slimetoes, that's 3 attack and 2 health from a work order. And it also gives you another weapon, you know, to spend on Dust Devil or Karam. So that's maybe how I would replace Kizaj and Kale with 2 Sergeant Slimetoes. Morwenna is a grief card. Add 3 health to rival next creature. Similar to Wizard Traiborn in that regard. I mean, we've got enough grief that you could take her out and, you know, add in more healing. For example, you could add in Dagganoth Fledgling, which is something the deck, you know, could do with a little bit more of Dagganoth Fledgling. If you get that 3 base attack, you can then heal from that. That's a nice 6 heal. Alternatively, you could put in a second Dwarven Miner. Dwarven Miner you use to pay for full Tetsu and Tetsu Katana by making them very cheap. So if you feel like you've not got enough gold spent, you could add another Dwarven Miner or another Goblin Flash Mob. So these are kind of changes you could make if you can't afford, you know, the high cost of this deck, because obviously, you know, it's got quite a few expensive cards. But this is Grief Linza. It's really satisfying to play when you hit something big. And it's really frustrating to play against because it's very hard to play around it. Like, you're trying to, like, predict, are they just going to grief me again? You know, if I put my base attack back up to 2, are they just going to put me straight back down to 1? Like, when should I add more base attack? How do I defeat this person? And it's a really fun deck to play. And I do think it is successful against the pirate decks that you do see very commonly in this game. But that's basically it for today. That is Grief Linza. I have so many packs to open. I'm saving them because Morwenna comes out next week. We will do a beginner Morwenna deck next week, most likely to kick things off with his launch. And we'll probably see some diamond card nerfs. So, for example, I imagine Kale will get nerfed, in which case, again, Sergeant Slimetoes is a good alternative. But yeah, beyond that, I have been Francesca, and this has been Chronicle Runescape Legends. If you've enjoyed this video, you know, hit that thumbs up button. Maybe share it with other people who need deck help. That always helps out the channel and allows me to grow as a content creator. If you want to get social with us, we have a Facebook, facebook.com/thekillerbits, and a Twitter @thekillerbits. And if you want to support the channel even further with what we do, we have a Patreon, patreon.com/thekillerbits. And if you want to catch me playing, you know, Dungeoneering or Ranked or silly decks outside of these videos, I do have a Twitch, twitch.tv/Jaggerus, where I will live stream Chronicle. You can find past broadcasts on there already or catch me live during the day. But beyond that, have a great day, try and be good, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time with more Chronicle.